Hi, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of my vlog. For today's episode, I'll be discussing The People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, as well as the Netflix movie that came out about 2 weeks ago. So let's get started. So, the first time I read The People We Meet on Vacation was about, I believe, in 2021 or 2022 when it first came out. And then the second time, I believe, was in the summer of 2024. I started rereading the book when I was on vacation. And then when I came back from vacation, I had COVID, so I took a little break. And then at some point afterwards, I finished reading the book in the summer of 2024. I like rereading the book because every time I read the book, I remember some different plots that were there in the book, and I just overall enjoy reading the book. So let's get started with the summary. So, The People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry is essentially about Poppy and Alex, who have very different characteristics. Poppy is outgoing and she likes to make harsh decisions, and she likes to travel. And Alex is very reserved and a homebody. So the first time that they meet is at college orientation. Um, and then after college orientation, they kind of go their separate ways and don't see each other until the end of freshman year, when Poppy's roommate suggests that Poppy gets a ride from a friend of hers who also lives in Linfield, Ohio, the town that both Poppy and Alex are from. And then Poppy discovers that the mutual friend of her roommate is actually Alex, the guy that she met at orientation. So from there, both Alex and Poppy uh, develop a friendship, and they discover that they both want to travel to different places. So they make a plan of traveling to different places each summer. And over the course of their friendship for 10 years, they travel to all of these exotic places, such as Palm Springs, um, Canada, New Orleans, and Sanibel Island. And during their most recent trip, they something happens and it causes them to not speak for a little while, and the readers are kind of uh, trying to see like what happened between the two of them that caused them to not speak for a while. And then a couple years later, Poppy gets an invite from Alex's brother David for his wedding that is in Palm Springs. So Poppy gets the idea of ma- calling Alex and suggesting that he extend his trip and make it a trip for both of them, in the thinking that Alex and Poppy uh, can try to be friends again. And then, so when they go on their Palm Spring trip, it doesn't turn out to be as what Poppy expected it to be. They have a lot of issues with their Airbnb. The the Airbnb air conditioning system doesn't work, and then their renter car gets a flat tire, and then Alex has back issues. Uh, so they have a lot of issues during their trip, and it doesn't exactly go the way that they would like it to go. So then, also during the Palm Spring trip, uh, Alex and Poppy realize they're not on the same page. They don't want the same things, which also then causes them to sort of not speak to each other for a while, and kind of just like leave. Alex and Poppy kind of just leave the Palm Spring trip, just like in question mark, as if their friendship can still survive? Do they want the same things? Do they not? Where do they see the future? And then when Poppy gets back from the Palm Springs trip, she kind of realizes that, she is kind of stuck in her life. She kind of contemplates what is going to make her happy. What does she really want in life? She tries to make some career choices. She also goes to therapy to try to figure out what she wants in life. And then I'm not going to give away the ending, but it kind of just sort of the therapy session and just kind of makes her realize what she does want in life and where she wants to be and where she sees her life going. So that's what the book is mainly about. If you want to know the ending, you have to read the book. And then, so what I really liked about this book is I felt that the characters were very relatable. I also enjoyed rereading the book because, as I mentioned before, each time I read the book, I remember parts of the book that I did not remember the previous time I read it. And then I also like to see how Alex and Poppy's friendship changes from when they were in college to during their last trip, to when they're, I believe, in their early 30s. And it just, friends to lovers trope is one of my favorite tropes. So I just overall enjoy reading any book that has a friends to lovers trope. So if you also enjoyed the friends to lovers trope, I think you should read the book as well. And I also want to share some of my favorite quotes from the book that really stood out to me. So let's see. So this was a quote from this is from one of the ending parts of the book. I know what I want. You need to figure this out. I'll do anything for you, but please don't ask me to if you're not sure. He swallows hard. This line is gone. It's time for him to go. He forces out the rest in a hoarse murmur. I can't be a break from your real life, and I won't be the thing that keeps you from having what you want. So this is one of my favorite quotes from the book. And then another quote that I really like is in the middle of the book. I'm dreaming again, which is the only reason I think I can make it to the door. I'm dreaming again, which means that probably when I do get to the door and pull it open, the huge black cat will be there, waiting. Saratoga riding it like a horse. And then, Poppy, please let me know you're okay, he says to the other side of the door. I slide off the bed, taking the linen-covered duvet with me. I keep it around my shoulders and drag myself to the door on the legs that feel weak and watery. And then the ending part that I wanted this part is when when Poppy goes back to Linfield to meet Alex. You're not a vacation and you're not the answer to my career crisis. But when I'm in a crisis or I'm sick or I'm sad, you're the only thing I want. And when I'm happy, you make me so much happier. I still have a lot to figure out, but the one thing I know is wherever you are, that's where I'll belong. I'll never belong anywhere like I belong with you. No matter what I'm feeling, I want you next to me. You're my home. You're home to me, Alex, and I think I'm that for you too. That was also in the movie, which I'll be discussing next. So, The People I Meet on Vacation, the movie, it's a Netflix movie. So if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. Even if you haven't read the book, I would suggest you watch the movie and then come back to the book if you think the movie's interesting. While I was watching the movie, I found some differences between the movie and the book, and these are the differences that were there in the movie did not that were not in the book. There's a motel scene when in the movie, uh, the day after Alex and Poppy leave to go back to Linfield after their freshman year of college. Uh, they run into some car troubles, so they have to stay at a motel. And then the next day, they have breakfast at a motel, at a diner, which was not in the book. And then another difference was the Canada camping trip. I don't remember uh, if the camping trip in the book was set in Canada. Maybe it was. Um, but what I saw in the movie was in the Canada trip, Alex goes skinny dipping and gets his clothes thrown into the water. That was not in the book. And then another difference was in the movie, Alex's brother's wedding was in Barcelona, while in the book, it was in Palm Springs. And then also in the book, Sarah, who is Alex's girlfriend and then fiance, her job in the book was kindergarten teacher, and in the movie, she was a flight attendant. And then another difference that I found was in the movie, Poppy and Alex stopped talking after um, uh, Alex's brother's David's wedding, um, versus the book where they stopped talking when they're going home from that trip. And then another difference that I saw was Poppy going back to Alex's home in Linfield. So in the book, she goes to Linfield and she goes to the school that Alex works at to meet him and have a talk with him and tell him how she feels. But in the movie, she goes to his house, or his grandma's house, and then she doesn't see him there, so she spots him while he's running. So she goes running after him, which I also thought was kind of silly. Um, and then another thing I want to say about the movie is the casting. First, when I saw the trailer for the movie, I was a little skeptical about the casting because when I first read the book, I thought that Lucy Hale would make a good Poppy. And then for Alex, I wasn't really sure. I thought maybe the guy from from Abbott Elementary, Jacob. I was picturing him to be Alex. But then once I saw the trailer again, and then once I saw the movie, I thought that the actors that they chose for Poppy and Alex were perfect, and they did a really good job playing their characters. And also the side characters, I don't believe that the trailer showed the side characters, but but Lucien Lavricant from Emily in Paris is one of the side characters. He plays Trey, one of Poppy's boyfriends, and Mile Heiser, if you've watched Parenthood, he plays David, uh, Alex's brother in the movie, and I didn't know that both of them were in the movie, so that was a pleasant surprise. And some cute moments from the movie were when Poppy gets sick and Alex takes care of her. That was also in the book, and that was also one of my favorite parts from the book. And then another scene was when the New Orleans scene when Alex and Poppy do a dance. So when Alex and Poppy are in New Orleans in the movie, they are at a bar and they just I think they're talking to someone and they just decided to do like a dance routine, choreographed dance routine, which I thought was kind of cute. And And then when Poppy goes back to Linfield to tell Alex she wants to be with him, that scene at the end was also kind of cute. So overall, I thought that the movie was pretty good. It did go a little bit faster than I expected it to go. Uh, and I don't think they covered like all of the destinations that they cover in the book. But I still enjoyed the book and the movie, so I think I'm going to be watching the movie again sometime soon, maybe sometime not. I haven't decided yet. So that's it for today. So next time I will be actually reading two books by the same author. I'll be reading two books by Denise Hunter, and I'll be kind of comparing and contrasting her work. And there was another book by Denise Hunter that I read a couple last year, which I thought was okay. So I'm going to give these two books by her a chance to see if I like them and if I want to read more books by her. So, so that's it for today. Before I go, I just want to say, please comment on which Henry. I would like to know which Emily Henry book is your favorite. If you've watched the movie on Netflix, what your thoughts are on the movie, as well as I mentioned during my first vlog, that I'm new to vlogging. So if you have any suggestions on any improvements that I can make, any books suggestions that you have, just comment and let me know how I can improve my vlog so then I can make better vlogs. And that's all for today. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.